Hey everybody, welcome back to the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. I am your host, Paul Salazar Jr. I'm a lifelong Houston Astros fan and a comedy writer in Los Angeles. I'm recording here from the studio here in LA with my co-host, Carla the dog. Oof, it is a rainy day, folks. It's a tough one here for Astros fans, that's for sure. We are down 0-3 after the third game here in the season, so it's been a tough one, that's for sure. And honestly, I wasn't able to catch the whole game, and so that also was, not ideal. Obviously, it was a national televised game, but also it was a tough one to watch. So I guess in a good way, my feelings were kind of spared a little bit. But fret not, out there in podcast land. I actually missed it because I got to go to a good restaurant. Oh man, it was amazing. It's Pizzeria Bianco out here in Los Angeles. Which had amazing pizza. I was out there sporting my Astros hat in L.A., trying to make sure, try to be like, I hope no one's angry at me. No, no, I try to wear low-key Astros hats in L.A. because, I don't like people interrupting my dinner to talk to me about baseball. But yeah, I did try to watch. I was able to watch up to the fifth inning, and then I also watched the game recap. So I did catch the game. But yeah, like I said, in a way, it's almost like my feelings were spared. I was spared the emotion of it. But either way, let's go through this game recap real quick. The game was played at Minute Maid Park. We had Marcus Stroman versus Hunter Brown. So yeah, we got Hunter Brown pitching today, and he did really good. I was very impressed with Hunter Brown's outing. He pitched 4 innings. He got 5 strikeouts. He let up 2 walks and a run on 4 hits. But he pitched fantastically. He really did good. I know you look at that line, if you didn't see the game, 4 innings. That isn't great. But he threw a lot of pitches, and it was just time for him to go. He just, I think it's 88 pitches. He was at 88 pitches after the 4th inning. So, this early in the season, here's a pitcher that struggled at the end of last season because of just wear and tear. It's a lot of guys, they become starting pitchers for a full Major League Baseball season. It's a lot more innings than some players are used to, and I think towards the end of the season he was exhausted, and that's what led to some of his pitching errors or pitching technique issues that led to some tougher outcomes. I don't want to say errors. I don't think that's even correct. But, he just, when you pitch that frequently, little weariness can get to you, and then your pitches aren't quite as sharp, or you don't have the same positioning, and the pitch, people can tell the difference between one pitch and the other because it's not coming out. You're not releasing it at the same point anymore. Little things like that. So I think, Joe Espada was looking at this and looking at protecting Hunter Brown for the season and not trying to have him give it all during his first start of the regular season. But yeah, he did pitch really good. But yeah, sorry, here I am. I'm lost in my notes, but going through it kind of, I'm going to try the first episode. I kind of did it, talking about pitching, then hitting. The second episode I did pitching, hitting, then pitching. I'm going to try to go a little chronologically this episode. Let's see if that makes sense. We're just, we're trying things out. We're figuring things out here on this young podcast. So yeah, I think, generally it was looking pretty stock game there between, Stroman and Hunter Brown. Stroman is, kind of a complete opposite pitcher of Hunter Brown. He's a smaller guy, athletic. He kind of is placing his pitches, lower speeds, whereas Hunter Brown is a power pitcher. But they both had good games, but there wasn't any offense until the second inning when Mauricio Dubon hit a double on a line drive past Juan Soto, and Yainer Diaz and Jeremy Pena scored, and that was so good to see Doobie out there, Doobie doing what Doobie do, and honestly, Juan Soto's been killing us so much. Anytime I see a ball hit towards Juan Soto, I'm nervous that it's just going to be an out. So that was nice. It was a good start to the game. And then in the third inning, though, that didn't last too long. Just like in the last game, some defensive woes showed up. Anthony Rizzo reached on a fielding error by Jose Abreu. And that's Juan Soto scored on that one. And yeah, that one was just tough. It came out of Abreu. He could have played it a little bit better. It was a tough play, though. It's just one of those things. We had some really tough defensive plays last game, but this just kind of looked more like bad luck. He definitely could have approached it better, but I mean, I think, when you're playing first and when you're playing third, sometimes those balls just come really quickly, and you have to have really quick reflexes and responses. He almost had it, but he missed it, So it's like, to me, in my opinion, I wasn't too upset about him. I know that the fans got a little frustrated there because, honestly, because of our defensive woes. I get it, You're like, oh no, here we go again. And then to get us out of that inning, actually, Verdugo grounded into a double play, Altuve to Pena to Abreu. And that was nice. Once again, the Astros get bailed out by a timely double play. I'll take it. We needed it. And then, let's see. Sorry, I have notes on two different spots, which, is not. I'm learning how to do this. And one of them is to have consistent notes. But yeah, I'm trying to see where I'm at. Yeah, in the fourth inning here is when I have some notes again. Brown's looking really good, as I was saying earlier, but he just has a really high pitch count. And the announcers in the game were saying he's a cool borderline gangster, quoting Dusty Baker from last season. And, I really hate to say it, but as good as Brown was looking at that point in the game, it's just like you really have to tip your cap to the New York Yankees for being patient and getting to Brown by having him throw so many pitches. The Astros are getting there, but that kind of an offense is desperately what I want for this team. We're going to need patient at bats. We cannot expand the zone. And we're getting some good at-bats, but this Yankees team is really good out of the gate right now doing that, having Brown throw that many pitches, And then there was another thing on the broadcast that kind of got to me, and that's that I really hated the icon of the state of Texas. They had that, state of Texas dominant since 2015. But that's only impressive because of how good the Astros run has been. I think if you separate those numbers between Astros and Rangers, it's like the Astros are kind of carrying the load in that. But that's okay. I'm glad we could help make our little brothers look good there. And then Diaz got a walk, so we needed more of that. I was very happy to see Diaz get a walk, working a walk, because, Diaz was known last season for really free swinging a lot. And like I was saying earlier about Brown throwing too many pitches, we need to kind of have that patient approach to hitting right now. And another thing, normally I don't like what the announcers are saying. Nobody does. I think that's just part of baseball. Unless the announcers are saying something good about your team, you're not too crazy about it. But they were throwing some shade at the Rangers that made me laugh. They were saying that the Rangers, got galvanized by losing the division. We're kind of saying that losing the division helped them win the World Series. and they were saying, how that's kind of like revisionist history. Like I've had to hear a lot from Rangers fans, so it's like, yeah, that kind of a take is revisionist history. At the time when they lost the division, they said that's a long plane ride home, so it's like, yeah, they definitely weren't happy, but I get it. You gotta give it to them because they've had a great postseason run. Definitely not what I wanted to see, but you gotta give it to them. but but yeah, I don't know. Rangers fans can be a little ridiculous. It's all good. Y'all enjoy it. But yeah, I just love that revisionist history take for sure. But obviously in the fifth inning, we couldn't pitch Hunter Brown anymore, so we got the Magic Man on. Seth Martinez came in, and there was another error. We had good defense, but Pena just barely missed a throw. Let's see, goodness, this, whoever. Let's see. Man, yeah, this is so rough. I'm trying to figure it out, but yeah, Jeremy Pena basically just had a bad throw. He my phone keeps switching on me, but he should have thrown a little shorter in the situation in the fifth inning. There, he kind of just threw it right at Abreu's feet and ate him up, and the runner got on. But then immediately we got a timely double play once again to help solidify the defense. I think the defense kind of being a little tough to these last couple games is it has been rough. But I think they're really starting to solidify it, and I think that it's just some bad things happen in baseball, and it's just how it goes. But we got out of that inning, and I think this defense is starting to solidify, and I think people are starting to focus up. Get into the right mindset. And then the fifth inning, I really did like that Altuve bunt in the fifth, and I was really hoping for a Yordong, in the fifth there too. But I'll take a little bit of wonky defense from them, but but yeah, I think I'm kind of, I don't want to get to the seventh inning really, but let's just jump ahead in this story. Let's focus on pitching for a bit. Then Mashinsky came in. He got a strikeout in the sixth, and then in the seventh inning, Brian Abreu came in, and he let up 2 home runs, and 2 hits, gave up 2 walks, and ended up giving up overall 3 earned runs. Obviously, with that type of a stat line, it's going to be tough to win games. In the seventh, Oswaldo Cabrera homered on a fly ball to right field, and Austin Wells scored, and they tied the game 3-3 at that point. And then Juan Soto homered on a line drive to left field. That just was absolutely soul crushing. I can say it. I hate Juan Soto. He definitely he's had a great series so far. He destroyed us when he was playing on the Nationals, and I say it with a grain, obviously, tongue in cheek. I don't hate the man. I'm sure he's a wonderful person, but as a baseball player and what he's done, you gotta give the man that respect by saying, oh, I hate him. It's like, I know when people say they hate Altuve and stuff like that, a lot of the times it's people just being silly, and it's like more of a sign of respect. There's few people that are actually really hateful and angry in a very bitter, weird way that, but there are people like that need to change. But most of the time it's like this. We're being silly. It's a sign of respect. Oh man, Juan Soto really made me angry. That was a tough seventh inning. And then In the eighth inning, the Astros got Presley in, and then Presley in the eighth inning gave up a home run, which was absolutely mortifying. Again, I'm worried about Presley. I'm not like so worried that I think there's something completely wrong with him. I just think he needs to make a couple of adjustments maybe. But yeah, Anthony Volpe homered off of him. He just hasn't looked too great recently. Kind of, eye test. It was just a rough game, and it's been a rough couple showings for Presley. But I'm hoping it's just a couple little adjustments, and he can turn it around. And then obviously Hader came in the ninth. He gave up a walk, but he got 2 strikeouts. So yeah, because we ended up losing. Sorry, 5-3. I forgot to mention that last that last home run obviously made it 5-3. You're looking at the stat lines, no one's popping off of the Astros list. All of the stats and stuff after the game, they showed Yankees stuff. For us, that bunt was big. That puts Altuve 1 for 4. Jordan did get a walk. That was pretty good, and obviously Doobie, he got those runs, so that was that makes Dubon 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and yeah, it just at some point, when we scored. When we scored the third run, they mentioned how all the runs that was that moment when I was hoping for the Yordong. Oh my gosh, that's why my notes are so messed up. Yeah, when Jordan got on base because of that error and we got our third run, they were mentioning how, like a lot of the runs that the Astros had this game, the runs the Astros had this game came off of errors essentially. People getting on base for errors. Obviously, Dubon got those RBIs, but it's like the Astros really didn't do too great at bringing the guys in again. The team went 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position and left 5 men on base this game. Obviously, not a lot of people on the base pads. You can't get a lot of offense. But, we're looking forward, once again, trying to put this in the rear view. It's like Joe Espada was saying in the press conference after the game. This is just the first 3 games of the season. This isn't time to panic. This isn't time to start worrying. They'll right the ship. I've been an Astros fan my whole life. I'm not a fair weather fan. I'm not a guy that started being a fan recently. I was a child running around, in the Astrodome. I have very fond memories of this team. But I've been a huge fan, obviously, in this golden age of Astros baseball, as we call it. And, the last 7 or so seasons, we really have started slow. Late Marches and Aprils are generally times in the season that I like to forget about. Usually the Astros start slow. They're figuring things out, solidifying things, kind of tweaking some things sometimes. And Joe Espada is learning how to be a manager, right? No, not learning how to be a manager, but he's definitely got a little bit of a learning curve here, and he's figuring things out. I like the things he's doing. But we're definitely fine tuning some things and tweaking some things. So just, be reasonable. There was a moment too where also I was mentioning I don't like to agree with announcers, but I agreed with the announcers where they were saying, that people are being very reactionary already. The Yankees are going to the World Series and the Astros, are busted. The Astros aren't busted. This is, baseball. Baseball sometimes, it's a little slow. 1 out of every 3 hits makes you a great player. Just let the dust settle a little bit, and I bet you they're going to be better than you think they are right now. But man, I definitely am hoping that they're getting this out of the way now, because generally the way they do it is in the middle of by May they're playing a lot better, and they have a hot summer, and they ride the wave and do great into the postseason. And I'm hoping that that's what they're doing again here. Obviously, we don't want to not stress and lose too many games and not get into the playoffs. So we still want them to win. But I'm just saying, don't panic yet. Now is not the time to panic. Usually they fix things and turn things around. And I think it hurts to see them lose this way to the Yankees for sure. So let's just hope they start turning things around tomorrow and they start figuring things out, And yeah, with that being said, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Space Cadet Sports Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I've been Paul Salazar Jr., your host. You can catch me on social media at Paul Salazar Jr. on all social media platforms, or at least all the cool ones. You can find the Substack and the podcast at spacecadetsports.substack.com. Last time I didn't get that right. Might as well get that right this time. spacecadetsports.substack.com. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, and rate and review this podcast. Give us 5 stars, please. Share it with Astros fans you know. Let's build a community. And vamos Astros.